You must come to a place of my choosing and a time of my choosing.
One thing I don't want to do is begin speaking on the terms that other people have set.
I am not bending to anybody's demands.
The long-standing feud between Dave Chappelle and Hannah Gadsby is like a never-ending saga of drama and shade that just keeps on simmering. Believe it or not, this feud has been brewing for years, but it had slipped our minds until Gadsby decided to reignite the fire. They definitely stirred the pot this time. Gadsby couldn't resist expressing their oh-so-controversial thoughts about Chappelle's comedy, and let me tell you, it's the kind of commentary that's sure to raise eyebrows and get tongues wagging. But hold on to your hats, because Chappelle wasn't about to let Gadsby's comments slide. Oh no, he came back with a vengeance. He unleashed a response that's bound to leave Gadsby feeling a little hot under the collar. It's a classic case of throwing shade and serving up some scorching comebacks. Now, you're probably dying to know what Gadsby actually said, right? Well, stay tuned to find out. These two comedy titans have been throwing shade left and right, and it's getting juicier by the minute. Hannah, never one to hold back their opinions, has made it crystal clear that they're not a fan of Chappelle's recent material, which some people find anti-LGBTQ+ and transphobic. But hold on to your wigs, because here comes the plot twist. In Hannah's latest Netflix special, Something Special, they didn't even bother mentioning Chappelle's name. Can you believe it? The drama. Variety managed to snag an interview with Gadsby, and boy, they spilled all the tea on why they decided to give Chappelle the cold shoulder. According to Hannah, it's as simple as a snap of their fingers, darling. While Chappelle and his controversial comments were lurking in the back of their mind for a hot minute, Gadsby just found the whole topic downright boring. Can you blame them, though? Their audience loves them for their fresh perspective and open-mindedness, so why waste time centering a conversation around Chappelle's toxic views? Hannah spilled the beans, saying, "My audience likes me because they don't like the usual toxic perspective, and to talk about him would be to center his conversation, and I just don't want that voice to be dictating how I approach my work. I didn't think he said anything that I was interested in, and that's what I would have to do in order to talk about Dave Chappelle. I would have to begin with Dave Chappelle, and I don't want to." Gadsby wasn't interested in giving Chappelle the spotlight and felt it would be a disservice to their own comedic style, but wait, there's more. Chappelle, never one to hold back his opinions either, made it abundantly clear what he thinks of Gadsby's comedic chops. He boldly proclaimed that Gadsby is not funny.
That Hannah Gadsby is not funny.
Oh snap, the gloves are off and these two are going at it like cats in a comedy cage match. Anyway, buckle up and let me spill all the tea on where this fiery feud between Hannah Gadsby and Dave Chappelle all began. Like all good feuds, it all began when Dave Chappelle, the king of boundary-pushing comedy, decided to dip his toes into controversial waters. He went on a comedic adventure, venturing into territories some deemed anti-LGBTQ+ and transphobic. Oh boy, did he light a fire under the comedy community. Enter Hannah Gadsby, the feisty Australian comedian with a knack for speaking their mind. They wasted no time in expressing their utter distaste for Chappelle's comedy choices. With a mighty pen and a sharp tongue, Gadsby took to every platform imaginable to let the world know how offended they were. It was like watching a roast battle on steroids. But hold on, folks. Gadsby allegedly started the beef by calling Chappelle's worldview emotionally stunted. Talk about throwing shade like a pro. The tension was building, and we could practically feel the heat radiating from our screens. But fear not, Chappelle wasn't about to let the criticism slide without a sassy clapback. Oh no, he's got wit for days. During a separate gig, this comedic genius spilled the beans about the response his Netflix special received. And let me tell you, it was comedic gold. His delivery had the crowd rolling in the aisles, clutching their sides with laughter.
I said what I said, and boy, I heard what you said. My God, how could I not?
The sharp-tongued jokester didn't waste a second before firing back at his haters. He wasn't about to let them rain on his parade. He let the world know that the real issue wasn't some petty feud between him and the transgender community.
I want everyone in this audience to know that even though the media frames this, that it's me versus that community, it's not what it is. It's about corporate interests and what I can say and what I cannot say.
The aftermath of this response sent Hannah Gadsby into a full-blown spiral. Can you believe it? In fact, Gadsby couldn't resist spilling even more tea and dropped a bombshell by revealing that they weren't paid enough. Grab your popcorn, this is getting good. In a lengthy Instagram caption that had all their followers buzzing, Gadsby called out none other than Netflix CEO Ted Sarandos for dragging them into what they described as his mess. The comedian wrote, "Now I have to deal with even more of the hate and anger that Dave Chappelle's fans like to unleash on me every time Dave gets $20 million to process his emotionally stunted partial worldview. You didn't pay me nearly enough to deal with the real-world consequences of the hate speech dog whistling you refuse to acknowledge, Ted. Yikes. So, was this all for the money, Gadsby?" Regardless, the Tasmanian talent unleashed the scathing response following Netflix CEO Ted Sarandos' mention of them in his statement to the staff while defending Chappelle. The statement read, "We are working hard to ensure marginalized communities aren't defined by a single story. So we have Sex Education, Orange is the New Black, Control Z, Hannah Gadsby, and Dave Chappelle all on Netflix. Key to this is increasing diversity on the content team itself." Meanwhile, as the feud between Dave Chappelle and Hannah Gadsby rages on, it seems like Chappelle's supporters have joined the battlefield, armed with their own arguments. These supporters believe that comedy should be a space where no topic is off limits, and that attempting to censor or silence comedians would stifle artistic freedom. They see Chappelle as a truth teller, using humor to shed light on uncomfortable topics and challenge societal norms. Dave is one of those people that, when he speaks his mind, it's because he's made up his mind. He's formed an opinion, he's confident in his words and his actions, and his ability to back it all up. And if you don't listen to what he says, you might as well just turn it off. He's an incredible comic, and I'm always impressed by how eloquent he really is. One fan commented. Another fan added, "Dave Chappelle is a comic genius and should ignore the criticism of those whose spines arch at the slightest thing. He's so good at what he does that they can't cancel him." Meanwhile, Gadsby's fans are rallying behind her, praising her for fearlessly taking on Chappelle and streaming giant Netflix. They can't get enough of her standing up for what she believes in and holding them accountable for perpetuating harmful stereotypes. The drama is real. The scandalous supporters of Gadsby claim that Chappelle's jokes, which often target marginalized communities, have real-life consequences. They argue that humor at the expense of these communities only adds fuel to the fire of discrimination, leading to further marginalization. They see Gadsby as a shining beacon of inclusivity, fighting for comedy that uplifts and empowers rather than punching down. One fan commented, "Hannah Gadsby is hilarious. Her comedy is real and human and never relies on punching down at vulnerable people for cheap laughs or easy bucks. Dave Chappelle could learn a lot from her, but he won't." A second fan added, "Hannah Gadsby is funny specifically to the same groups that Dave Chappelle sees as just the butts of his jokes. He doesn't think she's funny because he doesn't recognize her core audience as people whose opinions matter." In any case, as the dust continues to settle, the comedy world finds itself at a crossroads. Should comedy be a safe haven for unfiltered expression, or should it be a platform that takes into account the potential impact of jokes on marginalized communities? Can these opposing viewpoints coexist, or will they forever remain at odds? For now, Chappelle and Gadsby have left the ring, but the debate they ignited rages on. The clash of comedic heavyweights has exposed the fault lines within the industry, forcing comedians and audiences alike to grapple with the power and responsibility of laughter. Whether this confrontation will lead to a more nuanced conversation about the boundaries of comedy or further deepen the divide remains to be seen. But one thing is certain, the laughter will continue. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.